Wizards Postgame Live.
Well, down in Houston, Texas, a night that started out a little rocky for your Wizards, but it was a second half where the Wizards decided to cut it on, put it in gear, and all of a sudden decide to put it down with Kyle Kuzma leading the way with 33 points for number 33. Final score, 108-103. Man, that was a rocky road. Ooh, Jason Smith.
Why you gotta say down in Houston, Texas?
Because we did a Texas two-step. Last night it was Dallas, tonight it's Houston. We'll be back. We'll be back in San Antonio a little bit later on. But tonight, we're celebrating.
Oh, guys, please stop.
I'm done.
Please
I'm
stop.
done. I'm done. It's been an emotional roller coaster of a night.
Yes,
that first half, we were down 15. And we sat here and we said they need to make improvements. It was a chaotic game that the Rockets played. But tonight, Kyle Kuzma, like I said, 33 for number 33. He just shifted into another gear again, Jason. I'm really impressed by what I'm seeing.
He had 4 points in the first half. He goes out there in the third quarter. You saw the entire momentum kind of switch in that third quarter. They went out there. They had a couple good buckets. You thought, all right, they might make this a game. They cut it down. They chipped away. They tied the game. But Kyle Kuzma, again, didn't matter what his shooting percentage was. He was going out there with the utmost confidence. But also a guy that came off of the bench, Kendrick Nunn. Yeah. He was doing a great job of getting to the rim. He was being aggressive. He was finding his shot. But Kyle Kuzma, my goodness. Again, taking the team upon his back. He had 30 points last night in Dallas. Comes back tonight. Not a great first half, but it doesn't matter. 33 points for the man. He has gotten the job done night in, night out. You got a little concerned for the Wizards, especially on the road against a young Houston Rockets team, but they got the dub.
It was so funny. At the 7-minute mark, and he just knocks down 3 after 3.
Back to back
after
to
3.
back.
Kendrick Nunn, welcome to D.C. I know you're in Texas physically right now, but welcome to D.C. 12 points. The energy of this team, and we were talking about this when we were watching the game. We're like, all right, it's the second night of a back-to-back. They're tired. You can see it. Legs are heavy. Shots aren't falling. That halftime, I don't know what it was. Was it a breath of fresh air, or was there something said? What do you think, Jason?
You know, I think they kind of took a deep breath. They were like, you know what? This is the Houston Rockets. We're not playing our best right now. We're taking too many jumpers. Let's make a concerted effort to get out there, play a little bit more aggressive, because you'll have a day in between the Pelicans game. This was a back-to-back. Anytime you're going against a back-to-back, it's difficult. You got no legs, you got no energy, but no matter who you're playing, you can't play down to the competition. I think in that first half, Houston had more energy, more enthusiasm. They were taking it to the Wizards. But I guess what? The Wizards showed up in that second half, especially Kyle Kuzma, Kendrick Nunn, Bradley Beal. They got the job done.
I love what I'm seeing, and we'll include Denny Avdia getting another double-double on the season. That's 7.
Yes, sir.
Denny's had 7, 2 in back-to-back nights. Shout out to young Avdia. I want to bring in Chris and Drew and get their analytical opinions on tonight's game. Guys, great call. Like you, we were all taking the ride with you. Chris and Drew, what were your thoughts on how the Wizards were able to make this one a dub, 4th in a row to be exact?
I mean, don't play with your food. They was playing with the food in the first half. You know, you had a spaghetti and you take the fork and you just, you know, play around. You might not like it. You looking at it.
Yeah.
I think they were playing with their food in that first half. And in the third quarter, they won the third quarter. But that fourth quarter, plus 15 over the Rockets is where it really was the till of the tape. The end of this game, and Kyle Kuzma's performance down the stretch in that second half. This is why, I mean, if he doesn't have that type of scoring surge, what are we talking about? Is this an overtime game? Is this a loss? So that's what all-stars do. They take over games, and they have that ability to put the team on the back on the offensive end primarily and get it done, and he showed that tonight.
He's a closer. He has a mentality of someone that could care less, as he said to Megan, I don't care if I miss 10 straight shots.
I wish I had that skill.
Man.
We'll get to that offline.
Come on, Chris, be nice to him. And by the way, we got a bone to pick with you guys. Stop talking about free throw percentages, would you? My goodness.
What he said. What he said.
Jinx.
I back
that's
that.
why that's why I don't cover baseball anymore. I guess I was a jinx. The guys were throwing no hitters in the 7th inning. But Kuzma is absolutely phenomenal in these moments. He's comfortable in those moments. And when you have someone like that, I think the Wizards players have recognized that sometimes you might just need to get the heck out of the way and let Kuz go to work. And then this Kendrick Nunn guy. Jason and Drew, you guys have been traded. You know what it's like when you go to a new team. Do I be aggressive or do I just kind of blend in? Nah, this dude said, I want to, quote unquote, impact winning. And when I heard him say that after the game, I'm like, yeah, I think the Wizards got the right end of that. I think they got a guy that's going to help them do just that.
I think it's a lot easier for guys like me and Sticks when we get traded to blend in with a team, because all we got to do is set some hard screens, get a couple offensive rebounds, commit a couple hard fouls. But as a point guard, you got to know the playbook. You got to get guys involved. You got to know when to facilitate and when to shoot. And tonight, I mean, he started off the first half like he's already been here before, like he's been in the Wizards uniform. I love the confidence. I love the aggressiveness offensively. And in the second half, he flip-flopped. He reversed roles. He saw Kuzma on the right-hand side. He saw Brad on the left. He turned into a facilitator, and that's what good point guards do.
Guys, we saw him not only give you the 4 boards, the 4 assists, the 2 steals, and I'm like, wait, this guy's the first night?
Yeah, he's ready.
Okay, Jason. Forgive me for being spoiled. Can we get a repeat performance?
You know, I love what he did, and a person that it reminds me of, Jordan Goodwin. When he got an opportunity to go out there and play, it was new, it was different for him, but guess what? A new team, a new opportunity. You got different players out there, different coaching staff. You're trying to make an impact on the game, and just like Chris said, I love the fact that he said he wants to make an impact in winning basketball games. That is a true professional right there, and that's the right way you want to go about things.
Now, guys, I will be mildly critical, and I do want to go back to that first half. We know that fatigue is a natural element in life. But the Wizards can't afford to take a first half like that against teams, especially like the Rockets, where that gave that young team a lot of confidence, Drew.
Yeah, and I talked about that in that first quarter. You opened up a can of worms. One thing when you're playing teams that are losing at home, not that many people in the stands. And once they hear a couple of people start cheering for them, that's because the ball is going through the basket. And it's giving them confidence that they could beat you. And in that first half, the Houston Rockets had confidence that they could beat the Washington Wizards, and that didn't happen. I love how the Wizards flipped the switch in that second half. You saw the true professionalism, and I love what Coach West did. He had Denny Avdia, Kyle Kuzma, and Daniel Gafford in the lineup against their second unit around the 10.5 mark in that fourth quarter. That window right there is where Kuzma took off, and it was all she wrote.
Yeah, it was like the Wizards were down 5, and Drew said that during the broadcast of, this is when you need to make your run, and Washington did just that. I want to give the Wizards some credit, because when you win an emotional game the way they did just last night in Dallas, human nature is it's the Houston Rockets. They're the second youngest team in the league. We know what the Rockets are doing for their long-term future. We'll just kind of just roll the ball out. But to come back and have that kind of disposition in the second half, that says something about Washington and West. I go back to what I said before we started this road trip. Talk to me after this road trip is over with. And right now the Wizards have taken care of business on back-to-back nights. They'll get a couple of nights off. A real tough test is going to come Saturday night in New Orleans. Brandon Ingram might be available. And then after that, you go to San Antonio and Detroit.
Yeah.
It's one game at a time, but I'm just saying 2-0 to start this trip is pretty impressive.
And listen, you're playing 2 teams. I believe in that Victor Wembanyama sweepstakes, too.
See,
you got Detroit Pistons coming up, too, so what we talking about?
Well, with that said, Chris, if I could get you to assess these first 2 games in Texas, what would you say has been the consistent through line where the Wizards were able to take 2 down-the-stretch wins?
I think the Wizards were the best team in both of those games. Ooh. I think Kyle Kuzma was the best player on the floor. That should say something, because Luka's on that other end,
that's
right?
Why I said,
Kyle Kuzma is that dude, man. I'm trying to tell you, he's a closer. He has the championship pedigree. Look, I think sometimes we kind of like gloss over the fact this guy won an NBA championship.
Yeah.
And I know some people say, well, it was in the bubble. Drew and I have talked about this before. I think winning a championship in that bubble was harder than winning a normal championship, because you're doing it with no fans. You were in a pandemic, and Kyle Kuzma was a major part of that. And I think the education that he got from playing with AD and LeBron is what we're seeing right now in a young man that is blossoming in the prime of his career. And guess what? His confidence is sky high.
So you're saying that bubble was like penitentiary hoop?
Yeah.
Penitentiary basketball in the bubble. Put more respect on that championship, huh?
Hey, Drew, I got a question, though. When you look at Kuz being able to, quote-unquote, take over a game in the fourth quarter, and you know that you got guys like Bradley Beal on the court, obviously Porzingis is out due to injury tonight. What warning signal does that send to opposing teams that no matter who you think you got in the fourth quarter, 1, 2, or 3 of these guys can cut it on at any given moment down the stretch?
I mean, that's tough to guard. And we haven't seen that many times, small sample size, with all three of them on the court and on the same side. I mean, you talk about a dribble handoff between Brad and Kuzma, and then Porzingis comes out of nowhere, sets a step-up screen. You got a lot of action that you can run with those three guys, whether it's double staggered pin downs on the weak side, bringing either one of those guys off for a jump shot and one of those guys diving to the rim. I mean, the spacing, you heard Kyle Kuzma say, hey, we do a great job of not getting in each other's way on the court, and they do that even with the small amount of time they've been able to play together.
Guys, what's interesting is hearing Drew and his contemporaries, guys that played in his era, talk about how difficult it is to guard NBA basketball today. When you think about pick and rolls and pick and pops and 5 men having to switch off on guards, it's funny to hear guys like Drew talk about it like, this is really hard. And when you've got a guy like Porzingis, that is a unicorn, that is a matchup problem, and you put him next to Beal, and this kid Kuzma now, all of a sudden, his confidence is through the roof. Now you're seeing what a whole basketball team looks like. We've only seen it 3 times, though, right? Get KP back again. It's going to be hard to try to figure out how to guard this team. And if Kendrick Nunn is like this, if this is the version that we see of him,
he's like this. We've seen this.
Team's got to have a problem trying to guard this team.
He just wasn't healthy. He's been playing like this. He averaged 15-plus points in Miami over 150-something games. I think he's a proven scorer in this league. He's like this. This is no fluke tonight.
No, guys, I appreciate the breakdown. And before I let you go, Drew, no matter what arena you're in, I want you to know that I know who you are, and I acknowledge you.
They don't know him in Houston.
I know we got right there, bro.
I finally feel old. It happened tonight in Houston. It happened tonight.
Hey,
I even asked him twice. I said, oh, what'd you say? He said, oh, what's your name?
Gentlemen, enjoy the night. Enjoy the win. Safe travels, and we'll see you in New Orleans on Saturday. Wizards fans, let's go to head coach Wes Unseld Jr. at the postgame podium and hear his thoughts after tonight's dub.
You know, it's not the prettiest game. Didn't have the energy in that first half. It just came out a little sluggish. But, you know, to their credit, they responded after halftime. And you didn't try to hit home runs. You just, okay, you're down 15. You got to get stops. And, you know, I thought particularly in that fourth quarter, I think we really ramped it up. You know, guys were on the floor, getting deflections. We were able to get stops. That helped us, you know, offensively, but just our energy changed. I thought we were much better. Dialed in, we were more physical. We made more hustle plays, and all those little areas, you know, they add up.
You talk about the energy when you were playing Jordan and Will and Vern and all those guys. Were you looking for a shift in something, or why did you want to come on the
Yeah, in
floor?
that first half, I was, you know, trying to find a spark, you know, and, you know, K-Nunn came in, you know, he impacted the game. I thought DeLon, Denny, you know, obviously Kuz made some shots, and Brad made some plays late, but Gaff, you know, he was huge. You know, his defensive presence around the paint, around the rim, you know, and just our hand activity overall, you know, defensive intensity picked up.
What did you think of Kendrick?
I thought he was good. You know, I know it's tough because we haven't yet had a full practice, and you know, throw a guy out there, and you know, he knows some of the stuff, but limited package of things, but just played to his strength. Just he made a heck of a play down the gut for a dunk. I thought that really kind of got the group going, but he's a good player. You know, he's got the ability to fill it up, play out of pick and rolls. He can score, and I thought he was better defensively. You know, just being able to guard the ball, navigate through pick and rolls a bit. I think he had a good night.
What do you attribute the rising energy to after halftime?
Just that it was a choice. You know, we could have said, all right, down 15, don't feel like playing tonight, or let's fight, compete, and see what happens. So to their credit, they chose the latter, and it changed the complexion of the game.
Was this a game where you had to show some additional emotion at halftime?
I said what I needed to say. I don't know if it answers your question, but they could feel it. They know. I mean, it's obvious when we're not playing the right way. So, you know, they responded in kind, and, you know, it was much better in that second half.
What did you think about Kuzma and the way he kind of took over there at the first of the fourth quarter?
Yeah, he had the stretch. He hit a couple big shots, and we've seen it from him. You know, once he gets going, now he's, you know, shooting into a big bucket. You know, we needed it. So, Those were timely makes, and you know we trust to put the ball in his hands in those moments, and he's come up big for us.
Who won the belt tonight?
That's head coach Wes Unseld Jr. at the post-game podium. I don't bring in Megan McPeak, still in Houston. Megan, 4 different ways of winning, this time against a young Houston Rockets team that pretty much had us on the ropes in the first half. Fourth quarter resilience turned out in the Wizards' favor.
Listen, as I said to my mom in a text message after the game, which she texts me after every single game, just putting it out there, she loves it. Sometimes wins are ugly. They don't have to always be pretty. They're not going to always be pretty. You guys both know, Sticks, you played in this league. Wes, you've played sports yourself. We know that you're not always going to win pretty, and it's not always going to be sexy. Tonight, it was not pretty and it was not sexy, but a win is a win in the W column, and that's really all that matters. Oh, just keep going, keep going, keep going, just keep going. This is live TV. This is what happens. But when you look at the resiliency, whatever was said at halftime, it worked because something clicked with these guys. And I said to you guys in the pregame, you cannot play down to your opponent. Is this Houston Rockets team respectable? Of course. It is not a knock on them. They are the second youngest team, as Chris and Drew talked about throughout the game. So they are still learning how to play the game at this level. They're still figuring things out. You cannot play down to them. That's what we saw in the first half. Point blank, period. They played down to their opponent, and in the second half, they flipped a switch and turned it up. But you cannot do that against the teams that are in the top 8 in either conference. And you're going to get a true test, like Chris said, on Saturday when you play the New Orleans Pelicans. You've seen them already. You know what they're capable of. And if they do have the complements of their entire roster, they're a little bit different than the last time we saw them as well, too. So you've got to figure out how to be consistent. That has been the one thing that we've as I say, consistently again, that's the one thing that we've continued to say this season is we want to see consistency from this team. They're playing great right now on this road trip. You get 2 wins against 2 tough opponents in 2 different versions of it. At the end of the day, you start this trip 2-0. That is confidence. That's momentum going into Saturday's game. But you've got to be consistent on both ends of the floor for 48 minutes, period. That's how you win in this league.
That's what it's all about, Megan. We appreciate that as always. I'm going to let you go for the night so you can get ready to head down to New Orleans as well. Don't have too much shrimp etouffee or them beignets because your boy gets hungry over here. You used to play down there.
I'm making no promises, guys. I'm going to come back like 12 pounds heavier.
Enjoy your night and safe travels, my friend. Wizards fans coming up. We're not done breaking this show down. Oh, no, no, no. We got winning on our mind and, of course, looking to the future to get it done. But we're going to look back at some of our best bets tonight. By the way, number 33 had 33 points. I'm going to say that again. Kyle Kuzma taking over. And we're going to take over your TV some more when Postgame Live returns. Welcome back to Wizards Postgame Live. Wizards down in Houston tonight, fighting hard and finding all kind of ways to get the job done, including taking a little bit of a tuck and roll. Look at the agility of the landlord. Jason, you can...
Man, that could have been so much worse than what it was. And look, Daniel Gafford's like, whoo, man. That could have been a lot worse than what it looked like. He's got that agility, ninja agility out there.
I love it. That's what it's all about, the landlord taking care of himself by tucking and rolling. Let's take a look at our FanDuel Best Bets of the Night, brought to you by FanDuel, where we make every moment more. Looking back tonight, if you would have said Kyle Kuzma was going to hit 5 or more threes, that's at plus 440. A $10 bet would have won you $44. The Wizards winning under 230.5 points at plus 290. A $10 bet would have won you $29. Again, with these odds powered by FanDuel. With that in mind, Jason, Kyle Kuzma, there was a quote that Chris said, and I asked him about the past 2 nights, and he said Kyle Kuzma was the best player on the court. And I said, why? Because I know who was on the court last night. A guy that a lot of people is an MVP candidate, and that'd be Luka Doncic. So it's not so much about is he so much, but when you have a guy like Kuz that has that gear, it just jumps off the page, jumps off the screen when you see him perform like that.
When he goes out there in the first half, that gear didn't quite click in both games. But now you come into that second half, this is where Kuz goes out there and he gets the party started. Straight up from the third quarters, he goes out there, he's aggressive getting to the rim. He's knocking down threes. In the first half of both games, he was 0 Coming out in the third quarter, he knocks down 1. As soon as that first one goes through the rim, he's got the utmost confidence to continue to keep on shooting. And we saw it again tonight. He had a 3, and then another one, and then another one. That just got him going. He went out there, he did his job admirably with 33 points tonight and 30 last night. It creates the case put this man in the All-Star game.
Sticks, I know you watch comic book movies, right? And so you're familiar with the MCU and the character of Thanos. Remember when they were teasing earlier and he reaches over at the glove and says, fine, I'll do it myself.
Yes.
That's what I see when
This man is becoming that character in true form right there. He's going out there, he's saying, you know what? If nobody else wants to do this, we're not going to have a great night. We're coming off of a back-to-back. Let me do it myself.
How much pressure does that relieve on the rest of the roster to know, even if I'm not having a night, there's a dude who's that dude, built like that, right there?
You know, he's got that reliability. Clutch time Kuz. We always say that kind of jokingly, but this man is clutch. He goes out there, he's going to shoot that thing with confidence. He's going to get his teammates involved, but also he's never going to stop fighting. He goes out there on a nightly basis, always available, always attacking the rim, always putting up shots, but he's making the right plays. Now, granted, in the first half of both games, it was a struggle. He goes into halftime. I don't know what he's drinking at halftime or if he's got a little pep talk for one of his coaches, but he gets that rejuvenation and he goes out there with a enlightened spirit to just continue playing.
But you know what I love about it? It's not a selfish thing.
No.
See, that's the other dynamic that when you see a guy have that type of second half performance, you think it's like, I'm not passing, I'm shooting all the shots. No. Kyle Kuzma's still going to dump off 2 assists, 9 boards. It's like, what, I need to go get a board? All right, let me get a board, let me get you going. That's what I love about his game. And when I think about Bradley Beal, you know, a couple games back after being hurt, he's finding his groove. And it's a different style of the way that Brad plays. He only had 17 points tonight. But I love the combination. And again, in the absence of the unicorn, whenever he's able to come back, we'll greatly appreciate him. But Kyle Kuzma, he's doing something special. And I'm curious, Jason, if you were able to do what Kyle Kuzma's been able to do right now, would you not say that you need to be in an All-Star game?
It's tough because the Wizards haven't been winning basketball games. Now they're making the case where this is a pivotal stretch, and they're going out there, they're making a case for Kyle Kuzma to be in this All-Star game. Going on the road in Dallas, which is a very difficult place to win games, they get the win. Against an MVP candidate in Luka Doncic. They had a great defensive scheme and plan to go out there and double him. He still got his, but they still came out of there with a W. Going into Houston off of a back-to-back, he goes out there, he has a struggle in the first half, makes some adjustments, and he lights himself on fire in the second half, going out there, ending the game with 33 points, completely shifting the momentum from Houston Rockets to the Wizards, and then gets another dub. Now the true test, go to New Orleans. Do the same thing against the Pelicans. They are a very difficult team. They have defensive players. They've got offensive firepower. They've got bigs in the middle. It's going to be a difficult time. But guess what? Embrace the opportunity to go out there and tackle that challenge of the New Orleans Pelicans.
You know what I find interesting? I figured it out. Remember when he wore the pink sweater and they went out and won that night, and then he came out with the knit sweater from last night, and I'm like, oh, he's setting the road trip on fire. So I tweeted this out earlier, and I'm curious, Wizards fans. Which Kyle Kuzma fit is your favorite? Is it the knit with the mask on last night, or is it the bobblehead from last season? You can vote right now on your screen at NBCSportsWashington.com/vote or use the QR code. What?
They made the bobblehead of the pink sweater.
You gotta make
and
the
then you
bobblehead
got
of the
the
other one.
Skittles outfit. I
You
can't
have
do
to
either.
wear it.
I'm not a fashion person. I can't do
what?
that
That's
stuff.
the best juxtaposition in the world is to have you with the tattoos and all. We're gonna do it. No, seriously, vote because I really do want your opinion. Which one do you like the best? If I have to vote, the pink sweater is a bobblehead. It's classic. But that knit, like, I'm sorry, I will rock that.
I want you to come in and let's do a game with you rocking the knit sweater and the mask. I will be nothing but smiles on this entire show if you rock that.
The suit and tie prevent me from responding the way that I really want to. I will simply say this right now, new customers can get $150 in free bets guaranteed when you place your first $5 bet. You can download the FanDuel app right now and start making every moment more. When we come back on the other side, I will not be trying to get into that sweater or outfit, but I will be talking about Kendrick Nunn. 12 points in his Wizards debut, 4 boards and 4 dimes. Woo! Now that's the way you welcome yourself to D.C. It's the Wizards Friday Night Concert Series, and it concludes with Rick Ross and Ja Rule on Friday, February 3rd, following the game against the Portland Trail Blazers. You can use your phone and purchase tickets right now using that QR code on the screen. And, of course, enjoy all your favorite hits from Rick Ross. You know, you got Aston Martin Music, Magnificent, Sorry, Ja Rule's The I'm from New York. Yep, you can get all that in there, too. It's going to be a great little situation. Jason, we're going to try to go to the concert.
Yeah, I'm down with that.
You down?
I'm down with that.
Oh, so you want to do that? But
This was hype music when I was playing.
Oh, Port of Miami, let's go. all right, let me calm down. Let me get back to suit and tie. Says me, I need to calm down. Anyway, let's talk about the bench scoring tonight, Jason. I love you're like, this is the craziest thing in the world. Kendrick Nunn is 12 points off the bench. Denny Avdia gives you another double-double off the bench. These guys are finding their way, and I was talking to you before, Kendrick Nunn, it's like almost like getting off a plane like, all right, coach, what do you want me to do? Go play. And this is what we get, and I'm elated to see this type of productivity.
We had the opportunity to talk to Tommy Shepard. He was on the broadcast.
Yep.
He said Kendrick Nunn is instant offense. Yeah. We saw it case in point tonight. 12 points. He wasn't afraid to shoot the basketball. He was attacking the rim. He was making the right defensive plays. If he's going to make those winning plays, he's making his case to play more and more on this Wizards team and to become that backup role in the bench with Denny Avdia. Denny Avdia, again, going out there getting a double-double opportunity. But Kendrick Nunn, he has been lights out in this game. His opportunity to go out there and get some minutes, because you get off of a trade and you have so many things going through your mind. He just got off a plane 24 hours ago. You're trying to figure out plays from your new team. You're trying to figure out the style of play that the coach wants you to play. But guess what? Give this guy the ball, put him in a pick and roll action, get him in driving down the lane and putting it on people's heads, putting posters out there. I love what I saw from him from passing, from defense, from offense. He did a great job tonight. But Denny Avdia, back-to-back double-doubles. Yeah. This kid is getting it. He's realizing he has an opportunity with the trade happening and Rui Hachimura going to the Lakers. Denny Avdia is getting that opportunity to show what he can do, attacking the basket aggressively, getting to the free throw line, knocking down shots, but most of all, playing great defense. That's what we need on this team.
I love the patience of Kendrick Nunn. In the first half, he only had 2 points, and you talk about like being the new kid on the block. Yeah. You kind of watch everybody. You play respectability, like I'm not going to step on my toes. But then that second half, it's like, green light, go do what you do. And that's when he turns it on. Denny, the same thing. Denny had his 10 points in the first half. It was a 9 boards. And plus, on the second half, versatility in your skill set. We talked about the opportunities that were afforded to Denny after Rui was moved to L.A. and we got Kendrick. How are you assessing how Denny's been able to play in these last 2 games?
He's playing a lot more aggressive. Regardless if he's getting a rebound on the defensive end, he's pushing it on the offensive end. That allows him to go out there and be the best version of himself, attacking the basket, utilizing his young athleticism. But overall, he's playing within the offense. He's going out there, he's being more aggressive, but it's a side of Denny that we're wanting to see more of, especially with no Rui Hachimura in the timetable. It's going to be a fun opportunity for him to continue to attack the rim, get better at shooting the three-point basket, but he has to embrace the opportunity that he has. Coming off the bench, whether he's starting, coming off the bench, that role for him is there for the taking.
Jason, it's back-to-back nights. For us here, you know, we had an 8:30 tip-off last night, an 8 o'clock tip-off today. When I went home last night, I laid in the bed, I told my wife, I was like, I'm tired. And I'm not even playing anything, right? And I was like, I'm not even playing. I'm tired. They did this as athletes. This is why you guys are best of the best 450 on the planet. How hard is it for a guy like Nunn to fall in unfamiliar territory, new locker room, new coach, new everything, and be able to come out and be this productive?
You know, last night Nunn didn't really get that much playing time, but tonight he got an opportunity to showcase what he does. But overall, the Wizards, they didn't have a great first half. They were tired. They were looking lethargic. But they came out in that second half against a young Houston Rockets team, and they showed, you know what? You guys don't have it tonight. We are a tested team who has veteran leadership who came out there and got the job done, i.e. Kyle Kuzma, the all-star.
I like it. Just with your chest, Jason. Turn up, baby. All right, anyway, we got to calm down because Jason's going to have me inspired to watch an entire another game. We're coming up on the other side. We got more post-game, including conversation about Mr. Beal. 17 points tonight. Gave you 3 boards and 4 dimes. And he did it in 30 minutes. Third game back from injury. Bradley Beal talk on the other side of post-game. Welcome back to Post Game Live. Jason Smith, we have to go into the film room. Lead us, sir.
The man with getting opportunity with Rui Hachimura leaving the Wizards, Denny Avdia. What I love best about him, early on in the season and even in his early parts of his career, he would have sat there and froze on the three-point line. He attacks the rim with some aggression. That's what I want to see from the young man. But also, running in transition, he has the ability to knock down threes, getting on balance, getting his eyes focused on the rim, realizing that his defenders are in the paint. That's a little friendly roll right there. But also, This is what I love to see. This is point guard skills from a 6'9", 6'10" guy going out there, keeping the defender on his back with a nice little floater out there. He's showing his ability to attack the rim, knock down perimeter shots, but also having the ability to stay calm in pressure situations in the pick and roll offense. This offense that he's having out there, got to continue it, especially heading into New Orleans and on for the rest of the season.
Going to be a different dynamic down in New Orleans. Definitely want to remind people the final score of tonight's game, the 4th win in a row for the Wizards. The Wizards, excuse me, 108-103. Bradley Beal gives you 17 and 4. Mr. Nunn, first Wizards game, gives you 12 points and 2 steals in his Wizards debut. And Kyle Kuzma, number 33, gives you a point for every number on his jersey and 9 boards. Here he is in the post-game locker room.
You know, in the first half, it was real funky out there. You know, we just had a bad energy about ourselves, and just came out in the second half and just tried to play hard as possible. And, you know, I think for me, I just kind of just erased the first half from my mind and just, you know, just try to take over the game and, you know, just try to find a way to, you know, kind of just help us get a win. So.
20 points in the fourth quarter. Was there anything specifically you were taking advantage of, or just a little bit more effort?
I just wanted to get the ball every time and you know, get a shot at tempo. And you know, once I saw one go in, I knew it was gonna open up for me. And just me being confident, stepping up and making shots, and just trying to help the ball club win the game. So.
What flipped the switch at halftime for the team?
I mean, we just played harder. I mean, we came in the game and we were down 15 at half, and you know, we were just real blah, and you know, we just scratched that out and just found a way.
Was it the result of
Kyle Kuzma in the post-game locker room. I asked everybody, what did you think was better? Was it the multicolored cardigan, or was it the pink sweater of last year? That was your favorite. We're going to go ahead and close the poll. What are the answer? People love the cardigan, Jason. I told you. You can do this.
No way, and no, that ain't happening.
I got 9 months till Halloween to convince you.
No!
9 months.
I ain't looking like a Skittles character out there.
Next season, just tuck.
Plus, I don't have the tattoos or the.
Like I said, I got
physique.
9 months.
Dad bod going on right
9
now.
months to get you ready, buddy. We can do it. Well, how about this? While you're thinking about that, let's get everybody set for Saturday's game at 7:30. The Wizards are going to be here, taking on the Pelicans here, in New Orleans. So pregame live starts here on NBC Sports.
You see Daniel Gafford, he's saying no. Jay, don't do it.
He's saying, Jason, you can do it one time.
No!
Number one time is all you need. Pregame live back and postgame live back in a moment. One time, Jason. Just once. Just once.
It was us. I mean, we knew we weren't playing the way we were capable of playing. Coach came in and lit a fire up under us a little bit, but I mean, we knew we weren't playing up to our standards. I mean, it was a back-to-back. We came out sluggish. We knew we'd stay in the game, and they'd let us crawl back, and we just did that, stayed to our guns.
All right, Bradley Beal in the post-game locker room. Sticks going down to New Orleans, so you know you get a little shrimp here, 2 fish, some bayou, some gumbo.
That's my favorite place to play in my career.
So how did the Wizards get a W on the court there?
Stop talking like that. Jonas Valanciunas, he is a difficult person.
Oh, seriously.
Big man in the middle. We're without Kristaps Porzingis.
That part right there.
Daniel Gafford. Let's go, baby.
All right, now back to this pronunciation thing. What's wrong with the accent? Accents are fun.
You had a Texas accent. You had a New Orleans accent.
Because I'm well-traveled, Jason.
Just stop.
I'm well-traveled.
As long as the Wizards win, you can do whatever accent you want to do.
And we won tonight, so I think I'll pick up a little bit of country. No, I'm just seriously. Let's get back on a serious note for basketball. We will keep you updated on Kristaps Porzingis' status as well. Yes. Bradley Beal, 17 points, kind of different night for him, but again, I'm glad to see that the team came back to win. I was glad to see Vernon Carey get some burn tonight. Yes. Will Barton gave us a good first half. Team. That's what it's about, Jason.
Overall, I want Bradley Beal to have a little bit more offensive output, especially against the Pelicans. Going to be a true test. That is a very, very good team down there.
That's going to be a test. We are glad to see this guy, Kendrick Nunn, in his Wizards debut, put up 12. Oh, well played. And the landlord holding it down in the paint. When it's all said and done, the Wizards get the win. That's 4 in a row. We are now 2 in a row on this West Coast road trip. Let's keep it going. We'll see you Saturday for Wizards pregame live.